80% of people fail because they think self-improvement requires extreme discipline, but they are wrong. You don't need more willpower. You need to lower the stakes until success is inevitable. Discover how the rule of 5 minutes replaces your worst habits by turning massive transformations into tiny, manageable wins starting today. What your body is trying to tell you every morning. That stiffness when you swing your legs out of bed, the tightness in your hips after sitting through a meeting, the dull ache in your knees when you climb stairs. Most people write these off as inevitable, just what getting older feels like. But they're not random. They're signals, and once you understand what's actually causing them, you'll realize they're also reversible. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. Your body is wrapped in a continuous web of connective tissue called fascia. It surrounds every muscle, joint, and organ, holding everything in its proper place, allowing structures to glide past one another smoothly. When fascia is healthy, movement feels effortless. When it's neglected, it thickens, dehydrates, and tightens, pulling your posture inward, compressing your joints, and generating the chronic stiffness that most people assume is just aging. According to research in connective tissue biology, fascia loses hydration gradually after our mid-20s. Over decades, this accumulates into something very noticeable: restricted range of motion, persistent tension, joints that feel like they need oiling every morning. The good news? Fascia is highly responsive to the right kind of movement, and this is exactly what a simple 5-minute daily practice is designed to address. Why stretching alone isn't enough. Most people's response to stiffness is to stretch more. And while stretching has its place, it doesn't directly address the fascia network. Fascia responds to something different. Slow, intentional, circular movements that create a gentle pumping effect within the tissue itself. Researchers studying connective tissue mechanics have found that small, controlled rotational movements around the joints trigger what's sometimes called the hydration cycle. The tissue draws in synovial fluid, circulation improves locally, and the cells responsible for maintaining and repairing connective tissue, fibroblasts, become more active. In other words, the right kind of movement tells your joints to take care of themselves. This principle is not new. Movement traditions across East Asia, Tai Chi, Qigong, and various longevity practices have incorporated slow, joint-focused movement sequences for centuries. Practitioners who maintain these routines daily often showed remarkable mobility well into old age. Modern connective tissue research is now explaining the mechanism behind what those traditions intuited long ago. The concept is straightforward. Targeted, gentle motion restores what stillness erodes. The 5-minute joint restoration sequence. This sequence moves through 5 key areas of the body, the joints most responsible for overall mobility, posture, and daily comfort. Each station takes roughly 1 minute. No equipment needed, no floor work required. You can do this first thing in the morning before you've had coffee. Station 1. Ankles. 1 minute. Foundation of the whole system. Lift one foot slightly off the ground and trace slow, deliberate circles with your foot. 20 rotations in one direction, 20 in the other. Then, switch feet. The ankles are where circulation from the lower body begins its return journey upward. Rotating them gently activates the surrounding fascia and acts as a pump, encouraging fluid movement through the lower legs. People who skip ankle mobility work often find that stiffness elsewhere, knees, hips, even lower back, is partly rooted here. Station 2. Knees. 1 minute. Restoring joint cushioning. Stand with feet together and place both hands lightly on your knees. Draw small, controlled circles, clockwise for a count of 20, then counterclockwise. Keep the motion slow and smooth. The knee joint relies on synovial fluid for cushioning and lubrication. This fluid doesn't circulate passively. It needs movement to distribute properly. These small rotations help restore that distribution and gently decompress the joint capsule, which tends to tighten overnight. Station 3. Hips. 1 minute. The center of everything. Place your hands on your hips and draw large, slow circles with your pelvis, as though you're tracing the inside of a wide bowl. 10 rotations each direction. Hip mobility has an outsized influence on the rest of the body. Tight hips pull on the lower back, alter gait, and contribute to knee and ankle problems further down the chain. This movement targets the deep hip socket and the fascia surrounding the pelvis, an area that accumulates enormous tension from prolonged sitting. Many people notice an almost immediate sense of release here. Station 4. Spine, 1 minute, waking up the core column. Standing comfortably, let your spine move in a slow, gentle wave, rounding forward slightly, then extending back, initiating the movement from the lower back and letting it travel upward through each segment. Move fluidly, not mechanically. The spine houses the central nervous system and is surrounded by fascia that can become compressed and rigid with inactivity. This undulating motion creates gentle traction between vertebrae, encourages circulation around the spinal discs, and restores the natural mobility of each segment. People with chronic lower back tightness often find this single movement remarkably effective. Station 5. Shoulders, 1 minute, releasing the upper body. Lift your arms slightly out to the sides and draw small backward circles with your shoulders. Slow, smooth, intentional. 20 repetitions, then reverse direction. The shoulders and upper back are where most people carry chronic tension. The fascia in this region connects through the neck, across the chest, and down through the arms. Moving the shoulder joints through gentle circles activates lymphatic flow in the upper body and begins releasing the accumulated tension that contributes to neck stiffness, headaches, and poor posture. What happens when you do this consistently? A single session will leave most people feeling noticeably more fluid. Joints feel less compressed, movement feels easier. That effect is real, but it's just the beginning. Over the first week, morning stiffness tends to reduce significantly. The heavy, locked-in feeling upon waking begins to lessen as the fascia system starts retaining better hydration overnight. By the second week, many people notice improvements in posture, not from any conscious effort, but because releasing chronic fascial tension allows the body to find a more natural alignment. By the end of the first month, the cumulative effect becomes clear. Range of motion feels genuinely expanded. Movements that used to feel effortful feel easy. Joints that used to click and ache start to quiet down. This isn't a dramatic claim. It's simply what happens when you give the body's connective tissue system what it's been waiting for: consistent, targeted, gentle motion. Your commitment: 5 minutes, 5 stations, every morning for 30 days. Drop day 1 in the comments if you're starting today. Committing publicly makes follow-through significantly more likely, and knowing others are doing the same thing adds real momentum. Your joints aren't stiff because something is broken. They're stiff because the system that maintains them has been waiting to be activated. This sequence is how you activate it. Start tonight. Tomorrow morning, do it again. Your body will begin responding faster than you expect. Tomorrow, we'll build on this with a breathing technique that amplifies the effects of every movement you just learned and takes the whole practice to another level entirely.